Hey everybody, my name is Ryan Nieters from Omni Lucid Media Games. Today we are going to be talking about the Shield Maiden and the history behind them. As you guys might see, this is the first video where I got a little bit nicer setup going on. Luckily, we had Jordan come out here and we had an awesome game weekend where he and I got the what I'm calling the Drakkar Studio all set up here, so hopefully the videos I make for you guys will be a little bit better quality. So to dive into the Shield Maiden history, so the first thing to start off with is that the historians actually go back and forth, or I guess I should say more of they argue, whether Shield Maidens were in fact real, or if it was all just part of mythology. However, they have gone back and forth. There's been plenty of evidence to suggest that that is true, and with everything that I've read on it and just the culture and everything like that, I personally believe that Shield Maidens did in fact exist, and that it wasn't just a mythological thing. With Norse women, especially at the time, the Norse people, they were very ahead of their time when it came to rights and treating each other as equals. Women and men were considered equals, and that was down to just about every part of life. If there was a marriage, then typically the man was still considered, that he was considered the head of the household. However, they shared their duties very closely. The wives would actually be the ones that held all the keys to all the valuables. They would guard the house. They would be the one that basically ran the house. They were usually in charge of the thralls, or at that case, that would have been the workers that were maintaining the house, or if they had a farm, maintaining the fields or anything else like that, or the livestock, so on and so forth. But they were very much considered equals. Women would almost always choose their husbands. There were occasionally arranged marriages, but that was typically only in small villages. For the most part, women actually would choose their husbands. It was totally up to them. Their families didn't interfere, which again, for that time frame, was kind of unheard of, because arranged marriages was pretty much how everything happened back then, everywhere else in the world, or most places in the world. I guess I can't say it for everywhere. And also on top of that, women could choose to get a divorce if they decided that they didn't want to remain married anymore. And even when they would get divorced, they would be able to take their dowry back, as well as any half of the belongings of the household as well. So they were, again, women were very much equals to men. If their husbands died, they were never forced into another marriage. They got to keep everything. Norse women could rise to positions of power. And on top of that, they would indeed actually fight alongside the men. Now, from what I've read, I do believe that it's maybe not quite as often as is portrayed in media, but they would actually do it. It was basically, again, it was the woman's choice. If she chose that she wanted to go along with her husband and she wanted to fight, then she would. It seems that typically that most Norse women, at least the wives, I should say, that they would stay home. They would take care of children, run the household, when the men would go off to go on fighting and wars and anything like that. But again, that was completely her choice and a decision that they made as a household. So the women that would fight, and that we are talking about, and the piece that is in our game Drakkar, which are the Shield Maidens, they would train alongside the men. They would become proficient in fighting with a sword, a shield, a bow, a spear. It was completely up to them. They did get the moniker of Shield Maiden because, again, it was more popular that more times than not the women would take up shields, and they would typically be guarding and defending more than fighting. But again, they were very vicious warriors, just like the men were. There are many accounts of legendary Norse women. One of the ones that I particularly like a lot was the story of Freydis Eric's daughter, I believe is. I'm not saying that properly in the Norse tongue, but basically she was Eric the Red's daughter, and when she went off to Vinland, or what would in common day be known as America, that she went there and their settlement was attacked by invaders, and at that time the story goes that most of the men actually ran, and Freydis, even though she was with child and also already had children with her, that she took up a sword and went out, and the story goes that she went out with a child latched onto her feeding, and she still fought off the invaders. Apparently there were I believe 5 invaders is how the story goes, but obviously that may be embellished depending where you read the story at. So obviously a very, very strong, very intimidating woman. The fact that she was, and maybe just very skilled, but I would assume also very intimidating for those invaders to have a woman come out with a child suckling and her attacking them with a sword while that is happening, and also visibly pregnant. So the Shield Maidens definitely held their own. They definitely deserve a lot of respect. That's only one story that just happens to be my favorite story because it makes it, just because of how amazing and awesome it is that, you know, Freydis would go out there and do something like that. With our game Drakkar, we obviously had to include these amazing women in there. So what the Shield Maiden pieces look like, I will show you, and hopefully it shows up pretty good on the camera. So this, a little bit of flaring. This is the Shield Maiden piece. As you can see, I carved it where they do have the long braid in the back. The artwork, some of the artwork is a little different. Luckily Brian threw in a nice mix of things, but she does have her braid, her shield, and her sword there. So we definitely, like I said, do include Shield Maidens in the game, and I will stop it there. In the next video I will do on how the Shield Maiden piece works, attacks, moves, and everything else. I'm really looking forward to that because, again, with the new setup that I am going with Drakkar Studio right now, I do have an aerial cam now, so I'll hopefully be able to give you guys some nice shots on the board and a little bit easier of moving the pieces around. But I look forward to showing you guys that piece. We're getting to the end of all the pieces, so as always, please, if there's anything you would like to know, let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. But if you let me know anything that you would like to know, then I will definitely try and do that. For anybody that's waiting for a playthrough, you can just be a little more patient with us. Trying to wait until I can get Brian out here, and me and him will be doing a playthrough. I think we're going to do it live, but either way we will definitely do it. So once again, I am Ryan Nieders from Omnilucid Media Games. We are talking about Drakkar, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.